Hello there folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel, a place where I discuss on different topics like spirituality, introspection, dream interpretation at times, and well, depending on certain situations, I'm also expecting people to ask me questions and so that I can actually discuss on different things. At times I might feel like there are too many things I should talk about. At times I may feel that I don't have anything, and at times I might simply not be able to do any video, or simply don't want to do any video because, well, the point is very simple. Okay, I can't simply create, and I won't allow myself to create videos each and every day because I simply want to focus on different things, and especially in the days where I have to work, I'll most likely not drop any video because I simply work like 12 hours, and in that day I simply don't feel necessarily like creating another video. So therefore I won't be creating videos each and every day. Probably I will be dropping a few in a certain day. So all this being said, now let's actually move into the topic of today, which is tarot reading. Okay, so I've been tempted a while ago to actually start tarot reading. I actually have 3 decks at home, and well, the point about having 3 decks is, well, I tried to do a certain thing, and well, I don't know how much I can actually get to know about myself. I've been watching some, actually many pick a card readings on YouTube, and I have to say some of them have kind of been quite specific to me. It's quite interesting to say that I kind of feel specifically drawn towards one of those, and also towards a specific picking, at very rare cases 2 or maybe even 3. And well, it's kind of funny that irrespective of the source, because I've been watching like, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 different sources, I kind of seem to get the same answer from each of those. Probably the universe is knowledgeable of how much I am doubting everything, because, well, if there would be a god of doubt, well, I definitely feel that purpose. Not because I'd want necessarily, but because I can naturally be that. But puns aside, the point about tarot, okay, this has been something that, it's been very funny throughout history, right? It's been demonized, it's been called as the tools of the devil, and people have always been afraid of others who would use so-called divination. But what divination ultimately would mean would refer to just having a small connection with something that allows you to give a certain prediction. Okay, now prediction is nothing else than a belief, okay, because technically you are what you are, okay, and you are what you know, okay, because technically you are what you know. That which you don't know, you are not, okay. That which you don't know and you have read, okay, or you have seen, unless you have experienced it specifically, okay, to a certain level in which it finally becomes experience and therefore part of yourself. If you just heard it from someone, and you haven't experienced it, well, the point is that's only gonna be a belief. So tarot readings don't do anything else than belief sharing, okay, because in order to express anything in this world, you need a corresponding persona, okay. You need to become someone in order to present an idea, okay. That is why many people may feel like they are manifesting different so-called personalities, but without being schizophrenic, right? The point is, because when you want to present a certain thing, okay, you can only do it through the core of your mind, right, through the aspect of your mind. And to do that through the aspect of your mind, you need to shift from the theoretical aspect of being nothing into actually being something. Now, why I'm saying theoretical is because many people simply deny themselves this aspect of being nothing. And I made a video about, when you become nothing, that's it, you beat the game. Because when you become nothing, you're basically one with creation. The moment you proclaim yourself as something, that's a limitation on yourself, because you're limiting yourself to that small sphere instead of being the absolute. So when you become a tarot reader, again, you're limiting yourself to something small. But again, the purpose of that is to simply transmit a certain idea, certain points, because a scientist becomes a scientist when they are sharing something, right? A teacher becomes a teacher when they share something. Now again, with teachers it's a bit problematic because they also have to be didactical, okay? A non-didactical teacher is definitely not a teacher. So the point is, every time you want to portray something, every time you want to present something, okay, to present a certain idea, well, that idea will simply have to come from a certain persona, because you can't transmit it otherwise, okay? You need to have a certain ego, okay? A persona, let's call it a persona, okay? Some people may freak out when they hear about this ego, okay, because it's been again demonized. Everything regarding yourself is demonized, because how else can you actually hate yourself? And well, if you don't hate yourself, how else can you actually be controlled, right? And well, of course, definitely this society is not about control at all. So the point about tarot readings and, you know, predicting the future is again something a bit flawed, okay? Many people might freak out, many people might have their ideas dispelled by this, but you see, the idea of time is something that many people simply don't know what is, and simply have accepted all sorts of ideas, okay? Now this stems in a way from the Western's history, because for almost 1000 years Christianity has held, you know, an iron fist over the consciousness and the will and power to express oneself. And afterwards, the point was, when people finally found themselves capable to think, all that karma that has been repressed, okay, that has been created actually through repression, all that suffering that has been created through repeated and repeated silencing, okay, all that simply burst out, okay? So now people are still living their past, okay? Karma means when something in your past becomes your future, because you're living basically in a loop. You're allowing something to control yourself. And you know, so many people are still affected by this idea that, you know, they still feel themselves repressed by that Christianity, okay? It's like fully encrusted in the DNA, even it's fully encrusted in our, you know, like ancestral karmic debt, let's say, something like that, okay? And society nowadays kind of seems to be doing the same thing, because when you have karma affecting you, there will always be, let's say, two main ways that you will be affected, okay? Some will still live in that loop, considering that, hey, you know, you're still silenced by society, so guess what? They will participate towards turning that into a reality. So think about how many people are doing that. And other people might actually reach some, you know, higher positions in society, and still being affected by that, they will actually be also inflicted by power. So now the problem is a double trouble, okay? Because not only do they still consider themselves silenced, but they will also want others to suffer from this, because again, they are still affected, okay? They are still allowing themselves to be affected by that, you know, past memories, okay, that are not even theirs in the first place, right? So through this way, they're also gonna participate in making society what it is, okay, in wanting to silence other people just because, you know, everyone is capable of free will and free thinking, right? So all these people are actually taking part actively in turning society into this control grid that we actually have, okay? So when you have something that's painful, or when you manifest, or when you experience anything, you can simply become wiser, or you can simply become hurt. But apparently many people just want to become hurt, because there is still this prevalent manifestation or thought that if you are hurt enough, someone will eventually come in and fix all your problems. That's never gonna happen. Or even if it happens, those people will be people pleasers, and those people don't care about you. They all care about fixing problems, okay? Because they are bent on fixing problems. They're not bent on who they are fixing problems for, okay? So when you mix your energies with such people, oh, you're gonna create a whole mess out of your existence. Now, the point about time is that there is no such thing as past, present, and future, because you can only experience life here and now in the present, okay? As I call it about time, the past is only for regrets, and the future is only for, worrying and the such. And worrying and fear are nothing else than powerful attractors. Why do you think they are so prevalent in society? Because this grid, in order to control you, it requires the lowest available, you know, emotional constructs, let's say. So when you worry and when you fear something, that's what you're technically attracting in your life. So many people might argue fanatically even that tarot readings don't predict the future. Now any any tarot reader, okay, that has a brain, right, they're not doing their practice just for the fun, okay, or just to show an illusionary power that they have, okay. So definitely, as long as they're not faking it and they're like fully into it, anyone will tell you that, any such tarot reader will tell you that whatever the results they are getting are, well, results that are just like kind of generalized, okay. Even if you have personalized results, okay, the point is they are just an interpretation, because the future means whatever hasn't unfolded yet, and all your actions are actually guiding your future, okay. There is no such thing as predetermined fate, okay. Fate is determined by each and every one of your actions. The problem is many people are doing unconscious actions, and then they are calling fate as guilty for whatever happens. Fate just reacts to whatever you're doing. It's just like those hyper complex visual novels where you have a choice with each and every quote, or almost like almost every minute there is a choice that influences the stories, the outcome of the story. So the point is, even if you are doing things unconsciously, they're still gonna influence you, okay. You're still gonna be influenced by this so-called fate, which basically doesn't exist, okay. It's just a human construct, a very feebled attempt at understanding certain things, and many people just function by this primitive principle that if they don't understand something, they will simply create a meaning for it. But when you create a meaning for something, you're just minimizing yourself, and that's kind of very dangerous, because once you believe something, that becomes your reality, okay. But it is your reality, not the general reality, okay. That is why there are so many people fighting to impose their reality upon others, because they think that their reality is the only real reality, okay. There is no such thing as a real reality, okay, because you will never be able to perceive it. The reality that you perceive is that which you see with your own body, okay, and your energy bodies as well, but those bodies were tailored in a certain way, so therefore you get to see certain things, okay, and you see certain ideas the way your body was built to perceive them. That is also the definition of the so-called Maya, okay, because Maya doesn't mean everything is inexistent. It just means that things are there, okay. You can touch them, of course they are there, but you're just gonna perceive them in a different way. Any other animal will perceive them differently, but not even that, okay. Other people will perceive it differently, okay, because again, this body was made to perceive things in a certain way, and your energy bodies as well. So don't play with all sorts of illusions, because you're gonna get yourself pretty much fucked up, okay. So with tarot readings, they are not reading your future, okay. Now the biggest problem that I see with all these horoscope predictions, okay, or how I call it, a horror poke, okay. The point about this is, you see, many people take the horror spoke that they see at television, they might take it for granted. The problem is, if you see and watch a lot of that, you're technically allowing circumstances to take hold of your life, and that is why you will have a shitty existence, okay. Because if you hear a tarot reading, even if it is a personalized one, you just have to take it as, okay, that person drew some cards, okay, and they got some answers based on what those cards could represent, okay. But no one will ever be capable of fully understanding anything regarding you, okay. Why I'm saying this is because this is the same thing as dream interpretation. you might ask a lot of people, or you might look in so many places on the internet what a certain symbol in your dream may mean, but your dreams are curtailed for you because your dreams were made for you, because, well, there is a very small chance that that dream actually holds a message for you. Okay, most dreams usually present unfulfilled desires, or certain things that you wish you had, and, well, one way or another they're kind of, you know, unfulfilled desires. Okay, many dreams are sexual because people are, you know, repressing their sexuality, and more so than that, many dreams are nothing else than proof of what you're feeding your mind with. Okay, very few of the dreams actually end up as being, you know, something like a premonition or a guidance. Okay, but many people mistake this and they say that, oh, each and every one of my dreams is actually a guidance. Well, do feel very cautious about what you believe, because, again, belief is a very powerful tool, and not using it correctly can actually screw you over quite easily. Okay, so dream interpretation: when other people interpret your dreams, you will see a lot of people that they tell you that, oh, it is definitely this. Okay, many sites actually have this horrible aspect of, you know, they always present things as generalized. Okay, and generalization, I would call it as the biggest psychiatric disease, because generalization comes from a profound misunderstanding of the world. Okay, that's a sick kind of thinking, because when you generalize, you're attributing something towards everything. Nothing is the same with anything else. Okay, everything is unique in its own way. So using generalization, dude, that's very sick. Okay, generalization shouldn't exist in this society. Generalization is nothing else than, you know, a proof of how stupid you are, because even if this may piss some people off, I'm never gonna ever say things to just please people. I'm just gonna say things the way they are, because, well, I know that to a certain extent I'm a seer. Okay, I'm not a fully fledged seer, but I know I came here to simply break illusions and spells. Okay, because what you think is kind of a spell that may most likely influence you in a bad way, because you most likely haven't been surrounded by people that would teach you, you know, a lot of things about how things influence you. Okay, how you know, your surroundings can influence you. Most likely you've been surrounded by sleepwalking people, so therefore you may have picked on a lot of their negativity, and therefore you may still be functioning in that, most likely, you know, like most like other people. Okay, I also have negativity that surrounds me, so don't look at me as if I'd be some perfect being. Okay, I'm not here to present myself the way I'm not. I'm here to not necessarily present myself, because I'm not interested in presenting myself. Presenting myself won't necessarily help other people. Okay, but I can present certain ideas that people shouldn't take for granted. Okay, shouldn't take as if it's the only truth. I'd just present certain ideas, and, well, people may take that as a possible guidance. Okay, so given the fact that there is no future, okay, there is nothing that tarot can actually predict for you. Okay, they can actually tell you some things that might happen. Okay, just like in my case. Okay, like I've been predicted a lot of, you know, like good fortune and, you know, abundance and the such. Many people will actually do that. Okay, but I'm kind of not seeing like literally anything, and still I feel that I'm not doing much towards that anyway. So you see, take some care when you are listening to generalized readings. I'm not saying they are bad. Okay, they are just some people's ideas. Okay, so in order to take things to a different level, okay, you just have to understand that whatever you are experiencing, okay, is just sounds and visuals. Okay, apart from other senses as well. Okay, but it's just that. Okay, all the meaning you're attributing is just there in your head. Okay, those people are not giving you any meaning, they're just giving you an opinion. Okay, this is very, very tricky and very powerful to understand, because you see, when you listen to a lot of tarot readings, okay, or even one, it's enough, you'll always tend to take into account more those which you accept. Okay, or those which you crave. Okay, like many people who expect bad things, if they get a reading that will tell them they should expect something negative in their life, they will focus instinctively more attention on that, because there is a part within you that will always seek confirmation for everything that you feel. Okay, so everything that you feel, okay, is basically how you feel about yourself. Okay, so if you've programmed yourself to believe that you only have to expect bad things, there is a part within you that will simply function on triggering, on identifying anything that will support that, because it's a way your intellect is actually supporting you. Okay, the intellect is just a warrior that will always seek, and it's just like an adventurer. Actually, it's always gonna seek everything that will prove that which you seek. Okay, so if you feel that you suck or you don't have a good esteem, you'll always focus on like every bit of negativity surrounding you. Okay, when a mother shouts at her child, and they call them bad names and they're pulling them down, you're gonna tune yourself to that, because most likely you're gonna remember such events in your life. That is basically nothing else than a reminder that you should be curing yourself of that, okay, instead of just accepting it as a new kind of self-punishment. Okay, so tarot readings are just a certain person's opinion and ideas based on certain things they may feel. So they're just like my opinion and the wisdom that I'm sharing right now. Okay, you can take it for granted, and most likely you're not gonna end up with suitable results, because my wisdom may, my truths may be may apply to others, may not apply to others, or you may simply shift them to your own self and adapt them to yourself where and which is needed. Okay, so I'm not saying tarot is bad, or I'm not saying it's useless, or I'm not demonizing it, but I'm just trying to remind people that there is no sense of time. Okay, the time we have created is just an illusion, and therefore you have to understand that tarot only gives you a certain idea of what may happen in your life, but that thing may not necessarily happen, because the way you act in your life and the way all other people act, okay, that can easily change. Okay, now the point also is, okay, a tarot reading happens in the present. Okay, so if someone tells you that in 3 months something good will happen, it will happen just because the current flow of situations, okay, let's say that that person is in the flow, okay, they can really understand how things are going. Okay, the point is that if things would follow that point, they may actually reach that idea. So they might tell you that, hey, you're gonna be abundant and such. A lot of fake readers will speak highly, because that's how they actually get you triggered, and that's how they actually control you. But the point is, okay, that is something based on the current situation. Okay, the next day, corona may come, and the world goes to hell, and well, to hell will also your future may go, right? It doesn't mean that the reader was wrong, okay, or the reader lied. Okay, so you have to understand that everything happens in the present. Okay, everything can happen and can only exist in the present. That which is gone, okay, that which passed has passed. There is no more attention towards that. That is just like death. Okay, that is just like something dead, and always leave the dead to the dead. Okay, don't mess with those. Okay, and that which is in the future is like, well, it's a huge amount, it's an array of possibilities. Okay, and well, the future means nothing else than that which hasn't folded yet into life, because life is just here in the present. If you live life in the future, you're just living your life unconsciously, so technically you're not alive. If you live life in the past, again you're unconscious, because you're distracted by all so many things in your past. Okay, and if your past becomes your future, well, that's definitely not the best thing to take this life as. Okay, so all this being said, I'm gonna wrap this video here. Hopefully you understood certain things. Well, feel free to like and subscribe, feel free to follow, feel free to hit the notification button, share my wisdom with others, and well, don't be surprised if you're gonna be met with a lot of negativity. When that happens, it happens because you've challenged certain people's awareness and certain people's beliefs, okay? And as I said, I'm actually very you know I'm actually like let's say used to being met with a lot of resistance, because everything that I hold is simply ideas that I have understood, experienced, and simply taken from others. Some are beliefs, some are not, some are actually experienced by me, but I'm just sharing things, okay? I'm not attached to those. Many people are attached to those beliefs of theirs because that's how the intellect works, okay? And it's a proof that your intellect is fighting against you to a certain extent, which is kind of cancer, because cancer means when something within you decides to fight against you or is made to fight against you, okay? It doesn't have to be physically necessarily. I've been presenting this indirectly in previous videos as well. So the point is, I'm used to people being attached to their ideas, so if you share my ideas with other people and you're met with a lot of resistance, well, just let it be, okay? Many people are simply not ready to shed their beliefs, okay? And well, unfortunately, you can't move to something better if you can't shed your beliefs, okay? So all this being said, you're loved and appreciated. Stay awesome. Well, whatever you're doing is the best you can at the right pace for you. So all this being said, take care of yourself and your loved ones. You are loved and appreciated. Ferinjan Board signing out.